Good night, everybody. Welcome to the nightly show. You know what? It's so weird. We haven't been doing this like every night, like every night, every weeknight. We had to call this the Not So Nightly Show. Well, you know what, guys? I'm trying, I'm trying the best I can. I dragged my mother out of her bed for her to film this, I'm really trying. Let's get to the stuff here. In Libya, the rebels who are trying to overthrow Muammar Gaddafi, they're losing. They're losing, they're losing the battle. And today the unions in Wisconsin said, hey, how do you think we feel? How do you think we feel? In case you haven't heard, Scott Walker kind of forcefully signed in legislation that stripped collective bargaining rights for all the public sector unions in Wisconsin. And to make matters worse, for Scott, he really for the unions to be taught a lesson, Scott said, okay, these guys, all the union workers, they are banned from every single Packer game until they die. No more Packers. They can't even go to the Super Bowl if the Packers go again, next time. So back to Libya. The rebels, you know why the rebels, they're like against Muammar Gaddafi? Well, they're having a hard time convincing that he is a citizen of Libya, it's like, where's your birth certificate, Gaddafi? They're not entirely convinced. I think we have something like that going on. I mean, who doubts that some guy in this country doesn't have their birth certificate? Oh, and speaking of unrest in the Middle East, Bahrain, it's a little island country filled with oil, by the way. Bahrain, it's suffering protesters too. Not like Libya, but it has like, So anyways, they sent in troops to stop the violence, to stop the protests. They couldn't do it. They sent in troops to solve a problem. And now I guess they feel like the U.S. When it comes to Afghanistan, Now they know that feeling. And now it's time for a segment we call Shout Out. A shout out today goes to, we have a lot of weird names for this shout out. Carson Swayze. A shout out to Carson Swayze. Her name is Carson Swayze. 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 That's all I have to say about Carson Swayze. Another shout out goes to Amanda Kierga. I don't know. Read the caption below. I don't know. That's how it's written. I don't know how to pronounce it. Another shout out today goes to Christina Bush. Christina Bush. Is that a member of our family? I think so, because it has a C between the H and the S. Well, the S and the H. It has a C between there. Are there? I don't know. Another shout out goes to Luke O'Rourke. You know what they say, when you get a little mad, you gotta be like Rourke. Coming up the steps, Rourke, coming in DVD. Another shout out goes to Emily Dzubak. D-Z-U-B-A-K. Dzubak. I don't know, I'm not good at pronouncing last names, especially filthy foreign names. Filthy foreign names. Yeah. Man, that Latino come near my garden, I'm gonna give him a little piece of my pistol. That's what we do right here in West Virginia. West Virginians. You know what? I live in Virginia. West Virginians are like our stepsisters, We don't like to go near them, and we don't like to talk to them on the phone, So we're not big fans of West Virginia here in Virginia. Oh, did you hear about this? This is pretty weird. Justin Bieber, well, you know that wax museum, Madame Tussauds? What's it pronounced, Mom? What's it called? Madame Tussauds? Well, Justin Bieber has his own wax figure in there, in the Museum of Madame Tussauds. And to make sure it is perfectly accurate to Justin Bieber, even the wax figure hasn't gone through puberty yet. Even the wax figure. Oh my dog. And Newt Gingrich, you know Newt Gingrich? He's running for president. He was Speaker of the House. You know how old he is? He's 70. He's 70 and he's running for president. And when asked what he's going to do about healthcare, he said, I'll just ask Dick Cheney, okay? There's a guy who knows. Mom, do you know what I mean? Dick Cheney has had 5 heart attacks in his life. 5. You know, it makes sense if you ask him about that. Oh, and Charlie Sheen. Oh, Charlie Sheen. He's the big mess of the week. He said ever since he got fired from CBS, you know, from 2.5 Men, he's been broadcasting himself on this 24-hour webcam show. It's called Charlie's Corner with a K. And he talks about stuff, and it's 24 hours, you know, it keeps on repeating, so it's like you can kind of see him. Although you might want to start watching it when it gets dark, okay? Okay, yeah, when he turns off the lights, that's when you want to close that window, you know? It's just, unless you want to see Charlie Sheen's 2.5 Men, then you might want, and now it's time for something we call Word of the Day. And now, what wonderful boys and girls, it's time once again for a segment we call Word of the Day. This is taking too long. This is taking too long. Word of the Day. And today's Word of the Day on my iPad, which I think I'll replace with an iPad too. What'd you say about me? No, nothing, Lindsay. Nothing there. Oh man, this is weird. Today's word of the day is blandishment. Blandishment. Speech or action that flatters and tends to coax, entice, or persuade. So obviously, it's what the douchebag says. Hey, is that a nickel in your pants, or are you just excited to see me, baby? Yeah, I just did blandishment. Everyone, that's our show, and everyone here at the Nightly Show, we have our prayers to the victims and to the survivors in Japan about the tsunami. Yes, so our hearts go with the people of Japan. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Good night. Ikidarimasu.